So you're in a relationship and things are going great. But then all of a sudden, the man in your life just starts acting weird. He's distant, he's moody, and just not himself anymore. So what could be the problem? Well, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the 3 main reasons men end up in the doghouse. What causes all of that? How both sides might be playing a small part in that. And also, stay till the end because I'm going to give you some tips for both of you to get the relationship back on track again. Now, this video is inspired by Tig. Hi, Tig. I told you I'd give you a shout out. She's a girl that works at the front counter at the gym. I just said hello. We got to talking. Her and her boyfriend were in a fight, and these dynamics were at play. And I was like, I'm going to do a video on this. Are you okay if I mention your name and bring it up? She's like, sure. And I was like, this will really help people. So you can all thank Tig for this video. So let's get to why this is happening. Why does a man all of a sudden, everything's going great and then just sort of disappear? Well, really it has to do with 3 main things, and it has to do with emotions. I mean, first of all, society tells men, we've done this for decades, it's starting to change a little bit, but society has told the male species for decades that emotions are bad. You can't have them. You can't express them, you can't share them, you can't be open about them. Men themselves shame other men for sharing their emotions. A perfect example of this was, 3 to 5 years ago. I'd flipped on Sports Center, and back then, maybe you guys aren't football fans, but they were just doing this clip of a guy named Odell Beckham Jr. At that time, he was like a superstar in the NFL, top wide receiver, but he was going through a tremendous emotionally difficult time, and they're showing this clip of him freaking out on the sidelines, throwing a fit, pouting. I mean, it was, honestly, he was very childish. But why does somebody act like a child? Because they're in pain. And so his behavior was very erratic, very unprofessional, and yes, very childlike. But here was the piece that stuck out to me. Is they're showing this clip, Ray Lewis, the Hall of Fame linebacker, just jumped on him. And he said, it's perfectly okay to lose your temper and get angry. But the tears, because Odell Beckham was just bawling as he's, throwing this fit. Tears are just pouring out everywhere. And Ray Lewis completely belittled and chastised him for the tears. He celebrated the anger. And this is what I think people miss. There's this big push about toxic masculinity, and it's all about how men treat women. Now, I'm not going to deny that men, at times treat women poorly, but this is the birthplace of it. What men do to men, that's toxic masculinity. Tears, emotion are the essence of life. It's to be human is to cry and feel emotion. And here is this man who his own toxic masculinity got him sent to, I can't remember if he went to jail, but accused of murder. Like, his whole life has been false masculinity. And that's what he's perpetuating. He's a big mentor to younger athletes. And my heart goes out. There's a part of him that's very spiritual and very caring. And, there's an aspect of the work that he does for men that's wonderful. But this is crippling. And it's men like that create men that are hurtful to women. That's the birthplace. See, I don't blame women for it. I blame men. Men are responsible for sending this false message that if you show anything emotional, if there's anything that looks so-called feminine, you're not a man. That's the birthplace of toxic masculinity, what men do to men. And so, Tig, part of what's going on here with your boyfriend is he's feeling a lot of emotion, and he's got society pushing down on him. Men like Ray Lewis going, yeah, you can't say it. You can't talk about it. So that's the first thing for you or any other woman to recognize is you have men shaming men for being human, okay? It is perfectly normal and okay when we are going through traumatic life changes or difficulties in our life to throw a fit. Yes, anger can be a part of that. But the best emotion, the most healing emotion, the best way to recover from any difficult life situation is one that includes tears and sadness. And that is not weakness. That is a man. You ladies, you want to find a real man? Find a man who can reach that point in themselves. That's an authentic man. Okay? Number two, these are really all societal things, but as a child, let's face it, how are men raised? They're not allowed to express their thoughts. They're not allowed to express their feelings. They can't ask for their needs and wants. They have to be anti-dependent. I mean, think of, it's changing. I grew up with the Marlboro Man, the dusty cowboy who doesn't need a woman, doesn't need anything. I've just got my gun and my muscles, and that's all I need to conquer the world. And men are still perpetuating this. Again, the younger generation is much different. Unfortunately, in our attempt to conquer this toxic masculinity, we've gone about it in the wrong way. We have now made it so that men can't meet their needs and wants themselves, that if they ever step up and ask for their needs and wants, now they're being, toxically masculine. That there's any expression of self-determination is toxic masculinity. Oh, that's just a man being a man. He wants something, and he wants something in his life, and that's the problem. No. Again, we keep going about these dynamics. Pardon me, because of our lack of emotional mastery, we have it all skewed what healthy emotions look like. And so now we're raising this younger generation of men to not be able to claim themselves. I'm not calling it manhood, but claim their authenticity. And authenticity is the ability to share your thoughts, feelings, and ask for your needs and wants. Well, when they were younger, in my age group, you couldn't even do it. Well, now, because to do it made you weak. Well, now to do it means you're too strong. So they're caught in this double bind. We're going to, again, there's no moderation in how we're teaching any of this stuff. It's all improper. And so whichever way a man goes, he's stuck and frozen. All right? So we have to learn that it's okay to ask for your needs and wants. All right? It's not okay to demand them. It's okay to request them. And so that's part of what's going on with your boyfriend here, Tig. And number three, there's a real fear in men that if they do express themselves, they will be rejected or reprimanded for speaking their mind, mostly because of look what happens when they speak their mind, especially in the culture now. A man appropriately asks for his needs and wants, he's toxic. If he doesn't, he's a wimp. Do you see how whichever way we do this, a man's in a double bind? And don't get me wrong, we do this to women too. I'm not sitting here going, oh, poor men. Men are the only people that are being sent the improper message. This goes both directions. It's just this video happens to deal with Tig and her situation, okay? But if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I point out the exact same things of what we're doing to women, okay? So just remember that. This video is male-focused. And so that's why it's not that I'm making excuses for men or letting them off the hook or not aware of the double bind women are also placed into, but I'm just describing the dynamic with men. So now the question becomes, how do we heal this problem? What does it require from both sides to address this? All right, so for men, the first thing to ask yourself is, has that old male model worked? In other words, men my age who were taught to be the Marlboro Man and close, shut down, and take care of everything yourself and never open up. Is that working for you? Because you recognize your inability to open up means you don't get intimacy. Because what happens to a woman when you don't open up? What do they normally take away? The primary thing most men want, time in the bedroom, right? So is your being masculine paying off? Most likely not. Are you enjoying spending all those nights on the couch and hanging out with the guys because you're a man? Is that working for you? If it's not, and you're ready to face that false narrative that you're a wimp, and you'd like to actually start creating connection, intimacy, and achieve a true vision of what a man is. A man can navigate both sides of the dynamic. He can be strong and ask for his needs and wants without being demanding or abusive. He can just be declarative. This is me. Wow, a woman's like, wow, that's strong. He's not budging. He's authentic in his beliefs. That's very sexy to a woman when there's no demand. You know, the toxic part is the demand. I'm a man, therefore I get it. Drop that piece, but just go, well, this is me. And I hear you don't like it, but this is how I operate my life. A woman will find that incredibly attractive. All right? And then the other side of it is women will enjoy this part as well. The ability to get in touch with your emotions. So here's my suggestion to your boyfriend, Tig, or Tig's boyfriend, is suggest to him that every day he share 3 feelings that he's experienced that day. Simple stuff, like, you know, at work today, I felt a little insecure when my boss asked me to take on this new project. That's it. Simple sentence, doesn't have to go into deep detail, but there's a key here, Tig. No feedback. Women, don't give them any feedback. Remember, men have been rejected and reprimanded for being vulnerable. And so the key here is to create safety for them. Just listen. Don't fix it. Don't get into it. Just create a safe place. Don't disagree. Any of that. Just listen. Go, wow, thanks for sharing. Is that it or is there more? Give them the space, the safety to start learning that healthy way of sharing themselves. All right? So that's the tip for the men, is look at your life story. Are you okay with these, both toxic ways of teaching men? To be the demanding man or to be the passive rollover who can't, who if he ever speaks his mind is toxic. Both of those are toxic interpretations. What I'm advocating is moderation and maturity, which is in the middle. And both sides are the ability to express your needs and wants authentically. And for them to do that, what they need to start with is the ability to share their feelings in a safe place, okay? So that's for the men. Now for the women, make darn sure, whatever they say, you don't get upset when they start opening up. Because in many cases, when men have opened up, the woman instantly jumps to, that's not true. That's not what happened. What are you doing? They just shame them. They correct it, especially if it has anything to do with the relationship. And so they'll just, boom, doesn't work. See what happens when I open up? I get hit over the head with it. So make sure that you bite your tongue and you control your own emotions, because now we're raising women who are toxically feminine and act like a man and just demean and nope, you can't have any thoughts and feelings unless they're mine. That's the byproduct of this false toxic masculinity attack. We're making toxically masculine women who attack men. So both sides, we keep trying to fix these problems in the polar extremes, never in moderation, because we don't teach what's really going on. And so we need this moderate place on both sides of the dynamic, all right? Number 2 for women, when he opens up, don't punish him and put him in the doghouse. And it sounds like, I'm not positive, I didn't get enough information, but it seems like that may have happened with Tig, that he was shut down, detached, then he finally did open up, and then she was upset that he didn't open up earlier. Like, why didn't you tell me this? This isn't, I don't know that she said this. We didn't get into that much detail. So, Tig, don't hear me as saying you did this, but this happens a lot. That once the man finally opens up, then the woman goes, well, that's just silly. Why didn't you say that earlier? Now they're upset. They withdraw. The man's in the doghouse. And they've just created, so they're complaining the man's distant and won't share, and now they've just completely pushed him away. Now they're the one who don't realize they're being toxic, they're lacking vulnerability, and they are doing exactly what they're complaining about their male partner. So make sure you don't do that. Number 3 for women, and this is the key to get out of it. Instead of giving feedback, instead of judging and criticizing or offering solutions, ask questions. Turn everything into a question without giving feedback. Wow, So tell me about the boss. What exactly did he make you do, or ask you to do? Wow, have you ever done that before? Why do you think he did that? What did everyone else in the office say? What do you think you're going to do about that? See, empower him. So what do you think the solution is, honey? What are your options? Come back with that, the support. Now, again, I teach men to do the exact same thing, but we're just talking about this one dynamic, okay? So there you go. There's your video. Tig, I hope that helps you and your boyfriend. If anyone else out there has a friend that is going through this similar dynamic, please share it with them. If you like the post, please like it. If you're looking for more information, more skills and tools on all of these dynamics, I encourage you, go to my online magazine, www.thegreatnessuniversity.com. There are free articles, free videos. There are online masterclasses, free exercise downloads to conquer all of this stuff. It is a massive platform for you to get free resources to overcome all of the dynamics I talk about. So please go take a look and subscribe so you don't miss anything and you get all the skills and tools you need on your emotional mastery journey. So I hope that helps you. As always, enjoy the journey.